we're back. Eat the Reich. The big grand finale. We have made it up the Eiffel Tower. We are in Hitler's Zeppelin. We are in his broadcast suite, where he plans to broadcast to the world his mighty WERHUND killing the vampire Jaegers. Doesn't matter, there aren't that many TVs right now. It's not about that, it's about making a point. So it's up to you to defeat the WERHUND.
He's a big boy.
It's a big boy. You got a plan going in? Throw Astrid towards it.
Did anybody bring a biscuit?
A little doggy biscuit.
Yeah, probably plan A, send in the missile, and then assess.
My rather injured body.
Well, technically, you move
Anyone
locations, so
wants
you can all heal an injury as well.
Oh, okay, I'll heal one injury. My still
I'll
injured
take it.
body.
Did we get a second advance? I can't remember.
You did
Yes,
for
we got a second
killing
advance.
Franz Vogel, Demon Blood.
I'm not
Oh, yes, it did.
really sure that either of the other two advances that Nicole can get have any chance of triggering in the rest of this game, but I'll probably take the one that doesn't summon a swarm of rats when I'm in filth, given that presumably broadcast suite is relatively clean, physically speaking. I mean,
Oh yes, they kept it very clean.
Morally disgusting.
yes.
Yes,
Very keen to say that, Mikey. Won't
yeah. It's like the Death Star, spotless.
Not protest too much.
you? He thinks the Michael Pifel does protest too much.
I think you. No, I really do think he protests too much. That's my problem.
No, I think you're my
Like,
protesting.
kind of a defining element of Michael Pifel at the stage.
That was Mike. We're gonna make him have like a split person. That was Michael Peichel.
Not Michael Peichel.
Not Michael
Peichel.
Power. Michael.
The other one. The other voice in your head.
The other boy.
Like our Moon Knight situation.
Big.
Yes,
It's Michael
superhero
Peichel. Right. Well, let me remind you of his abilities. He's threat level 10, challenge 1, attack 5. When marking an injury from the WERHUND, check off all available boxes in the section rolled. The challenge cannot be lowered by any means.
Well, that's that advance out the window. It's all good.
It was that last gang that could roll crits, right? He can't.
Yes.
Cool.
So, please. Oh, yes. You faced the WERHUND. Adolf himself was standing at his lectern, gloating. But I think as the action starts, he scurries out of the room to leave the WERHUND to do his business.
Classic Adolf.
Someone bring a poo bag.
As a dog owner, I always have a poo bag on me.
We're not cleaning this mess up.
I'm from Paris. I'm perfectly used to uncleaned up dog mess.
Yes. Maybe.
I'll try and kick this one off. See if we can get something down. Uninjured so far, and not a missile. So here's the plan. Also, actually, before we start, Ollie, could you just remind us what the environment of this room is like? Is this the sort of stateroomy type setup within the
Yeah, I think it's like a big. Room with cameras probably set up, like big old-fashioned style cameras. They're like huge boxes, and then maybe some like docks of screens and transmission equipment, that kind of thing.
Right. Here's what we're going to try and do. So, Iryna takes out one of her dead men's cigarettes and looks over at the WERHUND. Turns out you can teach an old dog new tricks. She activates her dark glamour to, I think, just reduce her threat for a moment. She's striding through, seems out of place. Perhaps amongst these commandos, she doesn't look like the main threat. And as she does that, she deploys her concealed runes. Once the dark glamour fades, she whips out, and she strides towards the WERHUND. She whips out her Luger. I'm going to save this for a special occasion. Fires upon the WERHUND and then legs it, drawing the WERHUND into the explosive runes that she's planted. It's probably too much to say she manages to use another item, so I think she legs it, waits for the explosions, and saves one bullet in the chamber from her suppressing fire, waiting hopefully for an opportunity for the headshot.
I think we actually said that you can use multiple items. If it makes sense.
Well, I've got two. I think perhaps what she does is she fires the pistol until it clicks, runs, drops it, pulls out the rifle, and attempts to find an advantageous position. Probably because as he's chasing her, there'll be an opportunity when the runes explode to get her exquisite hunting rifle out for the kill. Probably not the kill.
It seems odd that we'd all be kind of standing back. This is a big space. I always think it's quite a small enclosed space. Am I getting that wrong?
It's a Zeppelin. It's got like space.
So,
Yeah, Zeppelin's famously spacious cabins.
Moving space.
this is going to be my first big numbers in terms of dice roll, I think. Because we've got the Luger, +1 for the close range with the approached, but it's also the last use. We've got the explosive runes that are ++ if concealed, and also the last use.
Get your flashbacks out early.
We've got +1 for dark glamour. And I don't know if we say that the hunting rifle has managed to secure an elevated position. That might just be one too many.
You can roll.
I think so.
Not roll a close combat roll and then roll a long range combat.
Well, the idea is she's approached, she's deployed her runes, she's firing the pistol and then running it. And then the hunting rifle is just for thematics, really. I think it is too much to get the bonus for that as well.
Yeah.
And then the other things I think we spend a blood on. Well, we'll spend a blood. I think we have to spend it because it says on your next roll. So if we have any specials, it will inflict 4 damage to an Ubermensch.
Ooh.
So let's see if we can have a good roll.
That's awesome.
That surprised everyone.
Oh,
What?
it's pretty tasty.
Oh.
It's pretty tasty, and I did realise that you have basically been escorted to this room without firing a shot, haven't you, Iryna?
Yes, she was all ready. She was all ready to fight at the base of the tower.
Okay, just 2 successes from me.
Well then, I think she will be forced to spend 2 of those on defense. The other thing is, so I have the ability reduce an attack's threat by 1 deadeye shot when you have a special. Can we apply this 3 times?
Reduce the threat.
When you use a ranged weapon, special, reduce a threat's attack rating by 1.
Yeah. Is that your Deadeye?
That's the deadeye shot, yeah.
Oh. That's cool. So yeah, we'll have to come up with a way to narrate that. Because you're making him explode,
Yes.
right?
So there's 2 abilities. There's the deadeye shot, which is reducing following the explosions, and there's also Innovation of the Soul, which is her anti-Ubermensch shot. And I think we should work on a narrative for that. I assume this won't be killing him, but it should be a big chunk.
Nice.
So, and then the 3 of those 6s, well, they go straight to do 4 damage each.
Oh.
So how much damage total? Well, he's got one -1 damage.
Does that apply to each roll or each dice or the overall? Oh, it can't be each dice, can it? Because normally it's just 1.
Yeah.
So it would be 12 down to 11.
12 down to 11 damage.
How much blood do you have?
Spend 1 blood on your next roll, gain special, inflict Hang on. Yeah, gain special, inflict 4 damage to an Ubermensch.
How are you doing 12 then? That's just once then. How much blood do you have?
Well, it says spend 1 blood, and then on your next roll you gain special. So it should apply to all 3 of the 6s.
No, you get 1. You get 1 blood to get 1 special. Use for 1 dice. You can't spend 1 blood.
I read that as that just gives you special.
No way. That's just
Then
killed.
have
That's
to
killed
spend-
every human in the game.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, I have to roll 6s, which I never do. Ollie, what do you think?
There's no way.
There's no way.
Is your name Ollie, Michael?
Whose side are you on?
I don't think your name is Ollie.
It's of course not about sides. The wording is spend 1 blood. On your next roll, gain special. Inflict 4 damage to an Ubermensch.
So which one is this?
This is Innovation of the Soul.
Innovation of the Soul. On your next roll.
But you haven't.
This is next
you
roll,
didn't
not
spend
this
for your next
roll.
Yeah, so
Well, yeah, I
spend
spent
for
it before I rolled.
Oh, but you have to roll to spend blood. Spending
Well,
blood
you have
is
blood
part
going
of
in.
the roll.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Did you have blood? Did you have blood going in?
Well, actually, this is worth checking. Where I used the cigarettes
No.
to gain the blood.
Oh.
No
After
challenge.
getting 2 blood, that's so interesting. That's such a cool thing, those cigarettes. I don't really get
What did you do?
I think it's because Iryna's range, so she doesn't really get as many opportunities to gain blood.
Yeah. No, he did say use the cigarettes. He does have 2 blood.
Oh, okay, so you used the cigarettes.
Use the cigarettes to get the blood,
Mark to regain blood.
which I narrated.
I think as well, because you can spend blood to heal at any time, can't you?
But he's asking, he gives 1 blood to get a special, and then use that special as much as possible. To me, it reads, you get like 1 use of that special. That's just so
I
powerful.
mean,
You just
the
think,
other
yeah, no, I've got
uses of
this,
special are not single use,
It's
as we've seen with
true.
with the missile launcher. That is.
It does say on your next roll. Yeah, it's weird. I know what you mean. It just seems insane.
It's
But anyway,
not-
they're supposed to. There's a point, isn't it, I suppose. That does say it doesn't even break.
Look, I'm absolutely
not
happy
really
whatever we do.
Oh,
Ollie, what's your read on it?
I think, as written, I think you've got it right, because gain special, that just means on any 6 you can do it. I think the balance comes in how likely is it for you to roll 3 6s? Not very likely. So, but it does mean
Quick session, guys. Thanks for the
that
notes.
you
Is that it?
that you might have just killed the WERHUND in one go. Wow, but
okay, I've been there, pal. I've been right there.
I think you've all one-shotted something already in this game.
This is Iryna's first real big hit of the whole campaign. Actually,
Maybe
Lots
they
of
were.
lifts.
Maybe it was a situation where they were all escorting you and you had the kill button.
Yes. Oh, what if though there actually were, narratively speaking, that we knew something of the werewolf and there was
Yeah.
a single silver bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that sounds quite fun.
Your silver bullet runes. Does anyone else want a turn and we can say it's happening simultaneously?
Yeah.
Kind of Guardians of the Galaxy style.
I just wanted to throw my Millicent's jar of nonsense that sounded good.
Was that taking the
Well,
fun out of it? When it's
A little bit.
I appreciate it does make the fun out of it somewhat
I have
for
a
others.
few concerns. I have a fair few concerns with Milo's turn, but I'm gonna leave those for the post game. I think. I have qualms.
I've no qualms whatsoever. Nicole will just sort of like raise one Parisian eyebrow and be like, "Man, I really want one of those cigarettes.
Yeah.
They look amazing."
Find out what she's having.
And Astrid's one is like, I killed 5 before. I still killed more than you. It only counts as 1.
If there was going to be a flashback, which I expected there would be a need for one, the flashback, I think necessarily would have been just flashing back to just before when she saw Astrid absolutely obliterate all of the vampire hunters.
Yeah. We've all killed an Ubermensch now, apart from Cosgrave.
We only came across 3, didn't we?
Yeah, you killed
Who was the second one? It was the RoboCop.
Robocop, the Demon Blut, the singer.
Yes, all that there.
in the
part of the
Austrian
grounds.
pleasure garden.
That one.
Oh yeah, Nicole did kill him in the end, didn't she? 'Cause,
Yes.
rammed the sawn off.
Oh yeah, up his
edge
bottom.
of the rifle
Up his bottom.
Yes, yes. What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, I think because Iryna is the single target assassin, right? That's kind of her role, so it makes sense if she's more tailored to take out these big guys. So that's cool for you to have that, rather than running around with your Luger, trying to
Yes.
entice people.
You just try to have an impact. It was a little tricky to find the balance with things. I think I really like this idea that, like you said, that there's been an escort, and she's actually been uninvolved in some of the last fights, and also unhelpful in some of the others. Finally, she's arrived to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
But actually, this target approaches, and now it is the moment to finally lock in after plenty of missed shots and somewhat letting the team down. That she loads the silver bullet into the hunting rifle, draws the WERHUND in, locks in, and between the eyes, the silver bullet lets fly.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to think you all engage him at the same time, and then you set up your runes. You fire off the Luger to get his attention. He turns to you with his crazy eyes, and then you just...
Yeah.
I
like it.
Nice. Well, there's one last thing to do. The reason you came à Paris, to drink the blood of Adolf Hitler. And you are free to narrate what you do. But you find him...
Unlike a more ruthless version of the end of the Avengers, rather than standing over Loki, it's them literally just
Except he doesn't get a cool... He doesn't get a cool...
No.
What's his face? Quip.
You're not allowed. Isn't that in the rules? You're allowed to make him. Was it something like no? I Hitler
He's
like
not allowed
cool
to.
or something.
You're not allowed to play him.
Do anything that makes him look
Yes.
cool in any way.
Yeah. Or even just represent him at all.
So he just throw him on the ground and he'll kind of kick down the door, and there's a gang of 4 ravenous vamps ready to finish the job.
Covered in blood. Oh, and I should say, if you want to drink the blood of the WERHUND, tasting notes: sweat, meat, cheap leather. Ugh.
Oh, sounds like my first apartment.
Well, there you have it. That is such a anticlimax, but
I'm sorry. We did discuss last week about how the one shot actually was quite a satisfying result from that fight. I think to follow it up with this probably is a bit of an anticlimax, but
it's crazy how. And I went back to do the rest of my review for this game, and it is definitely a tale of two halves. I think the second half has been I can see now how you could do this game in one sitting or 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
When you're focusing on the objectives, or when you're focusing on using your items and taking injuries and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Would we like an epilogue? You fly back to Blighty. You get an invitation to Buckingham Palace for your nighttime, obviously, and you're there to get your what's the good one? Victoria Cross, is it?
Yeah.
The bit of old French canon, is it?
You'd surely do more than that if you. It's not just like
and then invent a new award.
I think they would have been a new award.
What would a vampiric version of the Victoria Cross?
Not have a cross on it for a start.
It's probably a good start, yeah.
Maybe it's like something from the WERHUND, like maybe the sort of the eagle on his chest that's been nailed to his chest. Maybe you get bits of that turned into cool Night Lord style emblems,
shield like
some sort of shield. Some sort of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think canonically it would have to be something that someone else could earn in the future. It could be like a pair of fangs.
Well, that's the
Gotta
whole.
be like something,
That's why the Victoria
cool,
Cross is so good, because it's like limited, isn't it? So they're really stingy with them.
I don't like that.
How are you? How do you fare in Buckhouse? Do you play along with this charade, or do you eat in the royal family? Okay, good.
Eat them all,
Yes,
clearly, right?
100%.
How it all reads.
Oh,
Eating royal family, good. Eating churchy, good.
good.
All good.
Tasting notes for that is just cigars and champagne, right?
Yeah, he's just come from his bath of champagne, or whatever he used to do in his bunker.
Yeah, I don't think he bathed in the champagne.
Oh, we did, sir.
He went through enough of it. He definitely did.
He must have given it a go.
And brandy. Nice. Then you waltz out there. Pub, freeze frame,
Yeah.
jump in there.
It's the twist of the twist, and then jumping over the splat, eat the Reich, and of course it turns to just it should be eat the rich, and of course the retwist of it back, and it is the royal family are eating, everyone's eating. It's just them, like, what else do you expect?
Iryna's there like, eat the rich, is it? Okay.
I just remembered I have a very important appointment to get to back in Prague.
No, it's all right. I've just been reading the Telegraph, and they wrote an article about champagne socialists. I'll be one of those.
That sounds bloody great.
And then we can all perform at Glastonbury, and it'll all be tickety-boo.
Meet Michael Eavis as well.
Michael Eavis.
He's got to be pretty rich.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got to be pretty rich. I mean, it's a good.
That's
festival,
true.
Good stuff. But
That's true. 10 million or more in assets. Sorry, you're getting eaten.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like,
That's a revolutionary tribunal I can get behind. Not just we'll hang you if you speak too nice, but we'll measure your bank accounts and eat you.
Yeah.
We have a vampire squad who do just the job.
Nice. Well, I like that. I like that ending. There is a somebody shared with me a unofficial expansion book as well, which has got like more rules and more targets and things, which cool. That's kind of floating around. I don't think there's any official announcement of any expansion stuff, but yeah.
I do like about it though that like obviously in the start of this we kind of wanted to sort of see everywhere, and then sort of realized we needed to move it on to kind of keep this game paced well. But there's still a lot we didn't explore, and you said there were a couple of places that you thought were really cool.
Yeah.
So there's definitely more.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my favourite one that you missed was you didn't get a vehicle, which could have been cool.
I did. We got a moving weapons platform.
Yeah, I guess so. The Museum of European Warfare. It says it would be a perfect route through the city too, if only a desperate Nazi warlock hadn't animated empty suits of armour, preserved warrior mummies, and one of the horses that were buried with Napoleon. So you can actually the loot, you can get Napoleon's undead horse.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
And still functional, improbably loaded cannon. And a
I like
painstakingly
the open wording of improbably loaded.
Yes. Yeah. And painstakingly maintained masterwork great bow, which would have been Astrid's weapon of choice, I think. Cool. Yeah.
That could have been fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as I say, I think definitely struggled with this game at the beginning, but by the end, I think once you were confident enough to be like, okay, let's just fit this to what we want, I think it was really a lot of fun.
I think it's just a completely worlds and worlds and worlds apart mechanically and thematically from everything we've played before. I've never played, certainly not with this group, have we ever played as much of a I shoot him in the head now, make your own story game as this.
Yeah, it's a shame because that's a joke, but you can actually do that in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's quite a good primer for Blade. We always said in Blade, we always struggled to kind of almost feel off the leash to kind of do stuff, and that made us a bit kind of like reserved, like quite a nice almost like palate cleanser, or like a little kind of like just, hey, look, FI, you can push it, and kind of obviously we're in for Blade. I think the challenge we had is you say it got more fun. I think it got less fun as we started just going like, yeah, well, we just kind of just do everything and everyone dies. Like, there's certainly a balance between the two things. It definitely doesn't help, obviously, that for Ollie, it's not a fun game to pilot, which is a real tough thing. Because obviously, I think you were much more willing to, but yeah, fuck it, roll it through. So there's something missing in the middle there where yeah, I don't know what it is. Either it is like, yes, it has like a way to autopilot and Ollie can play as well, or there's some kind of shared thing we could all do because. Yeah, it's not fun to have the final encounter be I just do a bunch of shit that I don't think synergized actually well. I think it was a weird turn and got very lucky with those victors, but I don't know how we could hide runes while a wolf running at you and smoking a cigarette. It felt a bit much, but also there's nothing stopping you doing that. So it's a really interesting thing that's kind of like the only limit should be the DM, but if the DM's actually like fuck it, I want to get this over with, he's not going to, and also it's not fun. So there's something in the middle there. There was a middle point where I think we had it right, and then we probably then got a bit like, I
think we did get a bit more free with using stuff and feeling like we could apply stuff.
Yeah, which is fun.
I think with that, so firstly, I'm sorry for cutting that so short. I wanted to finally have like that big hit. Couldn't have seen her kill everyone. I acknowledge that it was.
Yeah, you really didn't need to in the end.
I really hadn't had a moment. I wanted to do the best you could, and then hey, that was spicy. I think with the item usage, like that liberal application of the item usage, like, oh, I do this, then I do that, then I do what. I think there wouldn't have been any concerns about that if it didn't then slam overpower. That's the sort of thing we were like. I've done that move before in the session with I hide runes, I do this, I do that, but none of it worked. So it's very swingy. With that, once you've got that Ubermensch killing ability, it is very swingy, but that is her purpose. But it also was unsatisfying somewhat. So I don't know what you're going to do.
I would like to
it's a swingy game.
On that a little bit, but that's the thing, and it says in the rules the ability of, it says they're meant to break the game. It does say that. It's that weird balance. Clearly they know this can happen. They know that even if you take it as you've got a do 4 damage to Ubermensch, even if all you did was that, they know you can easily roll. Not easily, but 3 6. I know it's a lot, but even 2 6 is a big thing. They know you can. They don't want you to, because you'd have thought, why didn't they make it more challenging? But then also that'd be so sucky if it was like there's Ubermensch and he's got 4 squads of thing and it takes an hour to roll through. So there's just something a bit missing in the middle there to kind of, which I think is why we need to maybe regulate a little bit. But Ollie, I don't think you wanted to kind of pull it back a bit.
But then we didn't really have like all the scenes you kind of like just thrown straight into it, like doing the whole like preparation side of it. The way the scenes were described, like none of them really catered to the idea of like being able to like, because everything's just an opposed roll. There wasn't. There's nothing where you're like doing your skill checks ahead of time or your stealth checks to go around and plant your runes, setting your ambush back. I do think the system though definitely caters to the idea of doing like just a really fun in-person evening kind of thing. I think the idea of like many days where probably most groups who are running probably don't even get through to the Fuhrer Zeppelin kind of thing. You just end up fucking around for a few hours, getting more and more bonkers. But if you choose to tunnel vision like through to the Fuhrer Zeppelin, fair play. But I do think it is a party game, and I think it'd be really fun to do.
I'm totally in agreement with that. I think it's at its strongest as rules is written. I mean, any game you can tweak stuff. You could say, for example, you could house rule that you can't use multiple items, and that would immediately make pull back on the each player individually making up quite a long story of the 6 things that they're going to do simultaneously, and then rolling well, and then they all happen, and then we win the game. You could stop that straight away by getting rid of that, being able to use multiple items. But this game's whole system is built around, like it says, like the potential to break things at any given moment in a silly, over-the-top way. And that lends itself perfectly to a long evening of silly fun, more than a campaign.
I just think it's a combination of those items. I think we had a really good thing when I had that was on the platform and I was using it, and then Hodge, you were like, actually, we could use that blooming gas party finish as well, and I kind of added to it that way. That felt very natural. It still feels really odd to be like, right, a werewolf was charging at us, and the way the items. I think there's certainly a way to do it. And again, I think in another game, I would have pulled back on it a bit and gone, well, actually, can you be planting hidden runes? Well, but we didn't, and that's more the issue. I think actually you can combo, but we could have been a little bit more kind of like, well, does that actually make sense? And but also why drag out as well? So that's what I mean. It's really tough when it gives you all the space to do it, but I would like to think there's a little bit more restraint in those final 2 encounters. But also then,
I think
sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. Is that you can. This is a game that is deliberately really loose and free, and you're meant to be able to do crazy shit. And the moment you start house ruling to rein that in, there isn't the crunch to replace it. Like there isn't the. In every other game that we normally play, Mikey, like your character would have a lot more kind of build that you've put together over multiple sessions of skills that work well with each other, and if you roll this, then you're going to get this bonus, and maybe you've got that item that actually boosts this bit of your build really well, and you'd have all of those things to think about and enjoy. If you take away the bits that are potentially at any given moment very broken about this game's very simple, fast-moving system, you're not left with anything underneath. You just sort of
We had also had the flip side where we had one of our sessions where we were just defending mostly because we were rolling like shit for the most side, and Ollie was rolling really well, and so we were doing. It was like the flip of what we just had there, where it was like, okay, I got one spare thing to throw an attack, but for the most part, I need to defend a whole bunch of stuff. And I think when we swapped over to going between each encounter, take away an injury, it kind of just meant we were more like, fuck it.
That was a fun change.
Yeah,
we talked halfway through it. There was some fun encounters where there was almost like puzzly bits. I'm surprised there wasn't like a side objective. You got to just quickly remove a thing to get the like take away. I don't know. It's weird they added a little complexity to that because I agree. Don't want to halt, but there's certainly something could have been in there to make that a bit more epic. Because that was
I think Sector 3, which is the first one. They were all, because you can land at any of them, so they're all kind of like tutorial locations, very straightforward. I think you did like 3 of them, and then as soon as you got to Sector 2, it was like everything has a really interesting identity, side objectives, loot, different enemies, and that was, I think that's a lot more interesting. I was actually a little bit disappointed that you were rushing to the Sector 1, because there's so many in Sector 2 that were interesting. But I think you were right, Josh. That session, I think, and that was when you were down to 3 players as well. I don't know if that made a bit of a difference. But also I think from a GM enjoyment perspective, the less predictable the session is, the more fun it is for me. So the fact that you could breeze through an encounter or not makes it more interesting for me. So I don't mind that you breeze through the WERHUND because you got pulled to pieces in that other one. It took like an hour and a half to defeat Demon Blood. So,
I think that again goes back to like my idea of the party game thing, like being able to split have everyone as a GM in a sense of like you can have one person each time you move to a new scene read out the scenario, so it is still that little shock to everyone, but then everyone gets to play it. So I think this game could be. I'm just sticking to a party game.
Yeah,
a really fun.
Yeah,
party game.
The other thing is the challenge of that as well is the disappointment is that there's so much. It's a really cool setting. It's almost too fun and too interesting to make it a breezy one. That's the big cut, isn't it? It's really difficult to set this really incredible space with this incredible premise with these really fun things you can do, and then be like, well, just fuck through it, guys. Just come on, don't. I mean, we've been blessed to play for all the campaigns being great, apart from one Soulbound campaign we didn't enjoy, which was long. I'd obviously rather play this than that, but I'd rather blitz through that and take it longer with this. It's a shame that it can be, and like I said last time, I think it felt we're just getting started, but also there's good reasons to not keep it going. So yeah, I'd love to see them do if the first does something a bit more this, but not 70-hour campaigns, but just something in between those two would be nice because it's all really fucking cool.
Yeah. I think there'd be a cool space for like. And I know some of the reasons why they've obviously done it. Like, we're not really personifying the Nazis in general. We're not really giving them a platform. The game is about slaughtering them. And so that's like a lot of the premises of the game are challenged by expanding it at all. But having had a lot of fun with the freedom and like, I don't know, bombasticness of it, like a little sort of like more like narrated, directed one-shot type thing where there was a few more interesting scenes that again would give the GM something to enjoy. Or a social seed or two, considering that
I had my French guy
available here. Social skills right there, and I spent my whole campaign trying to argue how I could use a social skill to kill people. I think there are, you could give it a little bit more, and I think it would still be really cool.
Yeah, when you were trying to I'm going to try and talk to the thing that's shooting us, and I was thinking, well, good luck. It's the lobotomized.
Yeah, I was like, yes, I finally got a great plan. I'm going to do this thing. Right, it's a servitor.
Yeah.
But the struggle with that is then the opposed rolls, because then Olly's got to just roll attacks back.
Yeah.
So, doing the social side, the system is definitely not designed to do anything social. Or even skills is quite hard, because even if you're trying to roll like skills for when we were trying to build the platforms and things, you technically have to be getting attacked in reverse, because that's the only other option you're taking hits.
Yeah, it does say in the front of the book, this game is what it is and what it isn't. And it said what it isn't is a game where you sit around and plan before you do stuff for ages. You don't talk about, you don't have a nice story, all that sort of stuff. It's definitely got a place, and it's got a brief, and it nails it.
Yeah.
And it was fun to experience.
There could have been an environment where there was, again, talking for Luke's sake. Like, again, there could be that didn't work matter. I know it's weird doing opposed roles, but I think it still would have been cool to have an area that ended with like a social encounter, but it was more about, we had a bit of fun, but also the aim was to get loot from, say, I don't know, like a brigade of Nazis who were fleeing or something. There's certainly things they could have worked into that, but I definitely could have done for 30% more actual kind of meat on the bone.
You know what?
Enjoying how when Mikey Pikey's mic stopped completely transmitting properly, it sounds like Michael has a ridiculous lisp.
Is your little microphone getting in your beard hair or something?
Oh,
might be actually, yeah.
Completely irrelevant. I
shave a little spot for it. Yeah.
I used to have holding on this far too hard with this stupid beard on. Ridiculous.
You know what? What change I would make to make it more fun is I would make it have the, in Blades you have the position and effect.
Yes.
You have effect because you say, I use items and I use abilities. So I would make position a thing.
Weirdly,
So you do all that stuff like you just did, Milo, but it'll be like, well, that's a desperate position because you've got his attention. He's chasing after you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you have to weigh that up.
Yeah, that's things missing. Like I said, which is that as much as I whinge about the DM's decisions, I love it. I love the back. Well, I love the idea everyone do this. I start complaining, but it's like when criticize something you love. Like I love the push and pull. But I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, it's like, oh man, where's the little you can't do that. But you're right. If it was not the system of the rules, but yeah, Olly gets to say, okay, that what you said you put your picture, but actually I think that's a bit. Yeah, it's not quite. I don't know that works. So it's going to be 25% effective, or just a little conversation. That just adds a bit of spin on it.
Yeah. I'm like a freelance artist. Like, this is your vision, but with your budget, this is what you can get.
No, that's fun, and you don't want the full hour-long debate about it, but just a little guideline for that. And I think you could carry stuff. I think stuff like the items being very set. I related to Blade so much. The idea of taking, like I said, whatever this did that opened up the kind of playfulness to do stuff and the kind of feeling of freedom. Whatever you put that across, be it the fact that items are just kind of usable and disposable and have bonuses to use them, just kind of would encourage you to do more stuff. Whereas it was, you're given a bunch of stuff in Blade, like, we'll do whatever you want with them, and you're a bit like, okay, it was the Tinker had like gas canisters and things like that to make it up. But it didn't really. If it just said like, and if you use this in an environment where it's enclosed, it just really just gives you a bit of focus, gives you a bit kind of like thought of how to use things. And imagine there was like a whole library of those things you could almost like go through and Blaze. That'd be really cool.
In that way, one of the things that I really liked about this, I can't remember if I said this in the chat or to Ollie, was that, like, because I had a character that actually their highest stat was con, and we're in this fighting game, it just made me think about how I could apply skills in this world where you can sort of use any skills to anything, which I think, while different to Blades or something like it, is a bit more grounded in reality and a bit more tempered. It really made me think, like, how can I possibly use con in this situation? Which, like, when you are playing like a character, it's conning.
To con someone.
Oh, just to con. Yeah. Oh, okay. I was like,
I think
it's really confusing that con is con. Like, every time I did it, I came up with a good idea, and sadly, it never really worked out. But it was cool to go through the process of being like, how can I, like, I've got a gun, but my character skills sort of lie elsewhere, so I'm not really fitted. How do I make it work? And I think that was good for me to be like, okay, if I'm playing Blades and, like, I'm not playing Silas the Slayer, like, how am I going to be useful in these situations? Just trying to think outside the box rather than being like, well, I'm not good at this.
You say you're not playing Silas, but you did just one-shot the final boss. Again.
I did. Yes, I did.
It was great when you used that concept. Like, I convinced the squad to try and lay down their arms. That stuff really great. It
felt really cool.
Doing that, there was no push to it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's cool as well, where it's like the successes can look any way you like. When Hodge was like, oh, I'm not gonna use the grenade. I'm just gonna threaten them with the grenade, and they're gonna run away.
Yeah.
But then I'm gonna blow them up anyway. so I can complete the objective.
It's really changeable. Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that is quite hard to achieve with even slightly more mechanistic systems, where having an item, like, your character could have a grenade. The grenade is an item. The grenade is a ranged weapon item. The grenade
D3 damage.
How do you use the grenade? You use the grenade in this part of the action economy, part of the turn. It costs this many action points. It does this much damage. And obviously, like, any game can have less formulaic items than that. But, like, I haven't had experiences before where you can think of something funny enough the wall to do with an item that makes it make sense to use that skill.
Yeah, so I think it's quite. I put in my blog that it's almost like a great gateway drug out of the D&D sphere and into the more narrative gaming, because especially if you're new as well, because there's very little that the GM will say no to, actually. So instead of jumping into Blades and being like, no, you can't do that, or that's not going to go the way you think because of these reasons. Michael Pagel.
I love that. I love the conversation. It's the fun of it.
Yeah, but this is good to, like, go full on, and then maybe you can play a Blades, or even like Daggerheart as well. Like, that's got mechanics where you have to add a spin, like a narrative spin on every roll because of the dark and light dice. It's going to get people a bit more familiar with that. But I imagine if you took your D&D group and got them to play this, they would be so confused.
Yeah. That actually is that's the use case that I'd be most interested to be on a fly on the wall for. Is people who've only played D&D and then play this.
Yeah.
And just do not understand at all how to proceed, like how a turn goes, like how you achieve things, because
bullshit. Just total bullshit.
That's why I know there was the Milo thing. He basically just did the random bullshit, go, and kind of just kind of did that to end the fight. But I was going to say because actually I did have, technically in Blades, being the mad tinker, I did have actually a bit of experience with this, and there was similarities, the whole conjuring stuff, and it's telling that the watermelon cards that happened quite pretty much near the end of the campaign, and that took that long to get to being comfortable to kind of start thinking about that, and it was all that was getting towards that silly point, but it still made sense of it as well. So that did carry across here really well. There was, I think it was in the engineering room, wherever it was, with the stuff when I was stuck, and I think you did say, what did you fix to attack? I was, oh yeah, of course I can. You to fix the randomly do shit. And I was just my plan with the werewolf was to kind of start thinking about, I got that Millicent soul bottle. I was gonna try and get the cameras and merge the soul bottle into the cameras that would project his soul in, and my mind was going just this stupid stuff, but it was unlocked that, which in Blade it never would have been kind of that far. So that's what's really great about this, that it's there, and the freedom is good, and it's nice to have a bit of both, isn't it? I think going to Blaze now would have a lot more willing to push the boat, and then still have that kind of slight guardrails on to keep it at least in line, but at least you have fun pushing it and stretching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about Scum and Villainy is there's a lot more crazy shit you can do because of wibbly wobbly technology and the Force TM. Sorry, not the Force TM. Stuff you can do.
I think we didn't do a lot of it as Squavion is the whole thing about the narrative details. Has a whole section of rules about, hey, do lots more deciding. There's shit there to do as well. I think we still didn't a lot. Even in the end we were like, what's the room like? What's in the room? And even though I wanted to, I was the same. I was like, I need to know there's. But yeah, I was hoping that we're getting better at saying, well, fuck it. There is a laser beam in the corner. I don't know. That would really help, because I remember when I very first started all those years ago, coming from mainly more comedy stuff. It was more like, just make up random shit. I think in the first few sessions, first few campaigns, I was always like, oh, there's a thing I can shoot down, right? And you're like, no, there's no things here. But then till this point, I still wasn't doing it, even though the rules wanted you to do it. That was still something I don't know, could be quite unlocked, which for you to work on. I think
that's why I knew you would love those cards in Dragonbane, the improvised weapon cards.
Yes, I enjoyed trying to use them.
Yeah, we realised them too late.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on Eat the Reich? And Milo, you still gonna run it for some noobs?
I think so. I really enjoyed playing it overall. I think it will be an interesting challenge for people who are pretty new to do that, but I think in a good way where there's freedom. So yeah, I'm very keen to run it, and the goal is to run it in person as well. So again, I think it will, and ideally in a day. So hopefully be able to report back on that experience of just kind of actually party gaming it, and it probably will feel more like a board game. Pretty excited.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting test case for us to compare and contrast.
Hodge and
It
I'll
would be so
turn up.
fun as a
We'll just be like, on the objective. No, Milo, we're going straight to Hitler.
It could be
I think there'll need to be some lenience.
No, Milo, there's no tanks beneath the Eiffel Tower. I know this. There's no Tiger tank parked there.
That's the thing. All those board games, aren't they? They kind of you can play collaboratively in the board that kind of plays itself like that. It should make a really good box product actually, because you're flipping there's a deck, you flip the cards, and you do that what's happening, and you react to those. That's exactly what it could be, and would be actually probably almost even better experience in a way. It's nice to have in the back pocket. I can even see some friends who don't do anything to kind of get people into even role playing games at all, because it's so silly and it's so people loved Secret Hitler, the version of Mafia or whatever, or Werewolf they play. It's a bit naughty.
It's a good comparison, I think.
Hitler.
The main thing is it's so light on rules that it will give a bit of brain space, although it may be challenging for new players to be like, so I just say what I do, but that's with every RPG. So you take basically most all the rules away and give them a gun and say, what do you do? I think it will be a really good way to I hope it'd be a really good way to be like, yeah, this is what
Yeah.
kind of like free-form role-playing, but somehow in an action game is like. That's pretty cool.
And I do think those things are better in person. I don't know why. Because when I think about one-page games, like John... I forgot his name. John, who wrote Blades.
Oh.
John Harper. He wrote a one-page game called Lasers and Feelings. And I think it would be not as fun to play in this setting, but if we were all around a table having a few drinks, it makes it feel like it's just an improv group more so.
I have played Lasers and Feelings online. It was still very fun. Sorry to go the opposite way there.
Maybe it's just fun.
But no, yeah.
More fun in person.
I could definitely think Lasers and Feelings be more fun in person, but I did have a lot of fun playing that.
Nice. Yeah, even Grant Howitt, the guy who wrote this, has done some, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, Sean Bean's Christmas Adventure, Jason Statham's Vacation, Adventure Skeletons we did for a Halloween session, which is a lot of fun to do because it's where you play as your skeletons. You're bored of guarding the dungeon.
Yeah.
You go out into the world.
Yeah, I think Mikey would thrive in that environment.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, to play this in the real world, you would just buy the book and have some dice, or what else you need.
That's my plan.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it comes with the box. It comes with the character sheets and stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of options where you can get like
And
the
the
cards, the sheets, and the map and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's well worth getting those things if you are going to play around a table with some people where some visual aids will be a little helpful.
Well, the game that I bought for my stag do that we never got to play, Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is the uses the blades in the dark. It's like a one-shot Cyberpunk generator. Which is, I remember telling you about the rules, Milo, and it's like, it's like, what? You don't even get to make a proper character? You just, you just pick one item and then you start? What?
Which, after seeing how well this streamline thing can work, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, like I think that's my nicest takeaway from this is that it has taught me that I am actually quite interested and curious about all of the really bare bones quick start rules light things that I had previously not been disinterested in, but just been a bit sort of sniffy about, because I just didn't really see what there was to it other than you can just make up more stuff and therefore it's more fun for I stab him in the face people. And that's not something that speaks very hard to me. But with the right group, I think you've got to be with people whose personalities you gel with completely. I think that's probably true of most role-playing games, really, but especially ones where the communally acceptable limitations on each individual person's presumed imagination are so important.
Yeah, and you have to be in that mindset of thinking about not just what your character is doing, but also everything around them.
Yes.
And having that sort of agency and confidence to say, well, can this thing be in the room? Or, can I just do this? Can we say that the bad guys are doing this? And I probably did that when Milo ran Scum and Villainy, and I was like, well, I'm just going to say that what I want to happen happens because it's cool, and why wouldn't Milo say yes?
Exactly. And all of that collaborative scene building stuff kind of comes through.
Yeah, I'm not breaking the rules, but it just makes it cooler. And then the GM doesn't have to think about every single tiny detail.
Yeah.
Nice.
The other two sides to it, you've got the side the game goes through, which is the being safe and talking about the stuff in a safe way, but also, politics and everything else. But the safe to be creative, like that's all you need, right? As a group, you're happy, like anything, like happy to ask stupid questions, happy to say stupid things and be like, nah, sorry mate, but it's okay. I think I do because I've got a group of friends who play board games with, and I probably will buy it, and the season Michaels and one of them is leaving America to kind of slightly change the group. So I'm thinking maybe time to kind of maybe if someone wants to join who is a bit more, could be up for something silly like this. We played Hero Quest together. That was fine.
Nice.
Try that. They enjoyed that. Only because I had it because John bought it for me for Ellis to play with because again, baby's first Warhammer. So yeah, I think it's because I'm looking at it, like 12 quid for the maps and things, and 20 quid for the book. So it's pretty easy to get in, isn't it?
If this game gets more people GMing, then that's already a net positive.
Well, that's it too. Like you say, we know it's not real GMing, but it still would give a bit of confidence. Well, at least I ran a game.
It's
like,
real
not
GMing.
but again,
It's don't put it down.
Well, you'll probably feel more to someone do it the first time. That's the difference, right? I'd be very different when someone does it the 100th time. For the first time, it might feel quite kind of like not overwhelming, but like a lot. Whereas you, it's like it might feel very basic. So maybe that's the extra.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like having to shepherd people into becoming using their imaginations in this way, whilst also adhering to the rules and what seems fair.
Yeah,
that's probably harder for most people than it is to run D&D and just I know the rules. And here are some enemies. They have 7 HP.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on this game before we talk about 50 minutes? Talk about what we're playing next, because it'll probably be next week.
Let's do it. Let's move on.
Nice.
Let's do it.
Well, I shall declare now that it was a tight race between, for next week at least, Call of Cthulhu and Pirate Borg. I think probably run one of those. I think Pirate Borg is edging out. But I think run that for maybe a couple of months, see how we feel about it, and then in the meantime I'll prep something else. I don't really hang on, it's just can't really I'll maybe have something else in mind.
Maybe.
Never mind.
Oh, I think what it might be.
No, I don't know what it might be either, but something that needs to be built into alchemy.
I very much look forward to it.
But I read through Cthulhu and Pirate Borg. And they both seem really cool. They're both quite different. Does anyone have any strong feelings either way? Any previous experience, Josh? You might have.
I think I have everything. I think.
I know of both.
Oh, you haven't played any Borgs?
I haven't played any of the Borgs.
No Borg.
No Borgs.
No Borgs.
We've been talking about Borgs for ages. I'm keen to try one.
I was looking through. So was at Friends of the Weekend, and one of them had brought along Mork Borg. Mm-hmm. So I was actually looking through all that, which I think Pirate Borg is based off of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, looking at Mork Borg, it looked really fun. Obviously, add pirates to that sounds even cooler to me.
Yeah.
But also, as much I know Call of Cthulhu, I haven't gone to play it though, but I do want. It's like Blades for me. It's one of those games I do want to try out at some point.
Yeah. It's also like, because Call of Cthulhu is very much like there is a mystery, and the mystery has it has clues, and there is a thing you have to find out, and it's like investigation, and it's talking, and it's taking notes. Might not be. So it's quite, and then Pirate Borg is quite simplified rules like D20 system. I basically put you on a shipwrecked island, and then that's it. You're off, nice. and you're off to get booty and money and crew and a ship and all that sort of stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, and the other side is very cool.
Yeah, like I was leaning towards Cthulhu because I liked the idea about gun, because I quite liked it just playing something that felt quote unquote current in real time. So I was leaning towards Cthulhu for like the early 20th century, but not the 20th century is that. I always get confused. Anyway, but yeah, no, both are great. Yeah, but I'm looking at the Pirate Borg on Alchemy now, and it looks fun. Creating ships.
I am equally excited about both. I wanted to play Call of Cthulhu for ages. I think it would. It's on my. I need to have played this, and I would like to learn more about it, and whether I would want to read more about it and play it in other groups and stuff. So it's on my list. I want to play it.
Yeah.
Pyroborg. I've played a couple of sessions of Merkborg here and there. It's very fun, very light. I've sort of most of the fun kind of tends to come from just how strong the theme is. The theme being just incredibly grim, dark death. You will die. You're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to fail. You're going to die. But also, there are some just really cool, metally, lore-y ideas in there, and monsters and stuff that the GM can use. It's a really cool game. And from what I know about Pirate Borg, it's not as distinctive or original, obviously, in theme as Merkborg, because it's pirates. It's just pirates. It's pirate things.
Well, you got weird folk and undead, and it's basically a alternate universe where the Caribbean wasn't populated. So when it was colonized, and then they discovered all these ruins, and basically skeletons come to life every night. So it's basically undead Caribbean land.
Which is a pretty cool pitch.
Yeah. It even says people are, or maybe it's one island where things come to life every night, but dead bodies come to life every night, but they're people get used to having to kill the dinner twice.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're making me. Yeah. Oh, I'm still on the fence. And then because Cthulhu is obviously more mechanics, which could mean it's a bit of a stretch we'd have to swat up pretty quick. Although the starter set that I bought on Alchemy is designed to slowly introduce the mechanics. Oh, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Porque no los dos.
I would be fascinated to to play through a specific designed for Alchemy starter set that layers in mechanics bit by bit. That's an interesting experience I'd like to try.
Yeah, it's not designed for Alchemy. I think it's just the same starter set you can buy sort of printed. Oh man. I thought you guys were going to be a lot more demanding.
Fun to try something.
I mean,
we're not going to help you.
Yeah, if the game sucks,
it sounds like
then it's on me.
It sounds like if we're going to kick it off next week, then Cthulhu's going to be hard to do. So by necessity, Pirate Borg. It's where I guess it's where my only concern going is actually, it's always nice to have a bit of back and forth balance. I was thinking, if we play too many games, we're just evil people. But I was like, no, the whole of Dragonbane, we were heroes, so back and forth is nice.
Yeah.
Is this maybe going to be a little similar to Eat the Reich? But then maybe also is the same thing that actually Eat the Reich will give us that repulsion to be more fun and creative with Borg, and maybe it's quite a really good step on.
I don't think you need to worry about that, Mike Peichel.
Nice.
When Olly says the board games rules light, they're rules light, but they are still mechanical in a way that Eat the Reich really is.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's probably on a level of
I
Dragonbane, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Dragonbane's a much closer comparison.
Yeah. And there'll be a good mix of combat and social stuff and quests and discovery and sandboxiness as well, which could be quite fun to dip into. And obviously Alchemy, I'll get the enhanced version. We'll have cool music and everything like that.
Yeah, nice.
I'm keen to see what Alchemy's pretty pictures and sounds make of the Borg, the Borg aesthetic.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you guys should just give me your final opinion on which one you're edging towards.
Borg.
I was going to say Cthulhu.
Oh.
Split the
Alex,
party.
don't you say Cthulhu.
I just did.
You already did.
You did.
Oh, you did.
What's it?
You guys suck.
Got to tell it how I see it.
I mean, can you actually get Cthulhu running by next Tuesday? Is the question.
Yeah, I think so, because it's a starter box, so it's designed to be like,
All right.
all right. That's what my niece always says. All right. And she's only 2.
All right.
I love it when tiny children have just like
Yeah.
one of their early phrases that they learn how to say really well is just something really oddly boring and like
They do.
It's also fondly
my
revealing
3-year-old.
of what my sister's like around a child.
Well, you get it. No, my 3-year-old would just, if something goes wrong, he'll just go, "Oh, for goodness sake!"
it's always
He'll say it. He'll say it so often, and it's so fun. And we obviously must say it a lot, so it's great.
For goodness sake.
For goodness sake. Plays drops it like it. Anyway, I mean, again, I think it sounds like just yes. Honestly, we roll it to you, and Ollie, whatever you think is easier, more fun, and because your plan's a bit longer, right? How long do you see each one doing, and then in that case, it's for your. Considering you didn't have as big a chunky time this last few weeks, it sounds like we're really happy for you to just whatever you decide will be.
Yeah.
All we've managed to decide is that everyone would be happy with all the games, and for once, maybe Ollie should just get to pick the game that Ollie wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean for once? That's all I ever do. I come to you and say, I'm going to run this. And both of them have like a mini adventure and then a slightly bigger adventure as well. So if we're really not feeling it, there's an off ramp as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. So that there's no risk. So just whatever feels best for you for next week, and if you feel most jazzed about doing, then pull the trigger, mate.
I really want to see Michael Peichel play in a 1920s Boston cop
Ha.
investigating a murder.
Was that for Cthulhu?
Well, it's not Pirate Borg.
Yeah, I'd love it. Yeah,
Yeah, Pirate Borg,
1920s Boston Pirate.
I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
sucks.
I've never the whole 21st century, the 2000s, the 20th century, the 1990s. It's never sat well in my head. So when you say 20th century,
Not surprised.
I don't want to gamble on what year we're really talking about. So you said 1990, I was like, is that 20th century? Yeah. I'd be thrilled because it sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
It could be a nice change of pace as well. So honestly, it's
Oh,
it's
man.
all good. It's all good. Go crazy.
Well, okay. This might split the party.
Oh shit.
In a non-equal way. Would you want to create your own characters or run pre-mades? Because Cthulhu character creation will be a bit more intense. Because it's a big old crunchy game.
I think after playing pre-mades, although really enjoying it, there is a draw for making a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd make a character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I actually thinking about it. I was going to be contrarian for no reason, but thinking about it, I think I agree. Like I wanted to play Call of Cthulhu for long enough, and kind of played other Lovecrafty type games enough in the intervening time that I would want to put a bit of creativity into it.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll say is actually coming up. It's coming up to summer, so I'm here for the next 2 weeks. I'm off for 2 weeks, then back for a week, then off for 2 weeks. So maybe it sounds like Cthulhu might be but then also the worry you're saying that we do this and then part. So it's only whatever doesn't get played. I guess is the challenge there. But I'd probably
until
vote in the next. Well, the easier, more drop in, drop out thing because I'll be pretty off a fair bit the next month and a half or so.
If it helps to add that, the 22nd, I'm probably not here either. That's the only one I've just got that 1 week.
Yeah,
Not the dates in the chat, I'm not here.
I'm
but-
off on the 15th. So we can do all that stuff.
It's
online.
like that in summer.
So maybe Pirate Borg then, so you're not missing out on why are we in this location?
Yes,
Call of
exactly.
Cthulhu? Why are we blowing in the door of this farmer's house? What's going on?
Why is Shamangaroth here?
Yeah, he's just
And what is Shamangaroth?
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid if you know, then you're already insane.
Yeah.
Phew!
Oh, I want to play
Insane.
it now.
maybe we just have to do. We just double shot both. Just
Yes.
yeah.
Well, if you could do quick and quick, then maybe you do quick, and then if like Cthulhu is absolutely just like taking over, we just do it, and then Heart comes later, or we that sounds quite fun.
Yeah. And then this long-term campaign that I keep promising you guys will eventually happen.
One day.
I think by the end of the year we'll want to settle down into a nice.
Yeah.
Once the darkness creeps in, we want a nice,
think so.
a nice cozy long-form campaign.
Horus Heresy.
Ah,
Organism.
Wait,
Organist.
is that Horus Heresy from fucking Cubicle 7, dude?
That's right,
Are
baby.
you simping for them already?
I was already enthusiastic before they promised me a bit of money.
But it does help.
But it always, it always helps. No, it doesn't help. It in no way influences my coverage or my opinions. Unless they pay for it too.
Yeah, unless they specifically ask. Nice. Well, it sounds like we'll go off to the creepy Caribbean then for next time.
Nice.
Nice.
good.
I'll share the PDF because it's one of the few alchemy games that I can still get a PDF with it for free. And you guys can have a look at character creation.
Lovely.
Look at the classes and things. Ooh, a class. Son of a good class.
Yeah.
And then you can try and pass their, graphic design. I'm trying to understand what it's saying,
Yeah,
which is the best bit.
it's an adjustment for sure.
That's why it's punk.
It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be
Yeah. Hard.
allegorical.
Yeah. All right, well, that was a fun, chatty last session from this bloody game.
I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you very much, Ollie.
Yes,
Fantastic, Ollie. Thank you as always.
That's all
GG.
right. All right. And I'm looking forward to everyone's pirate accents.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Next
we're going to
week,
have to...
Milo, watch some Black Sails.
Because we can't all be...
Yeah, got to do the prep.
We cannot
Yeah,
all
is-
just be the same...
Is this the German accent problem again, though?
Nope. Somerset is not a
Is it not?
protected characteristic.
No, but I mean that. Again, my naivety. How many variations are there of the R? You go down the well.
I think we'll have to make the assumption that not everyone will do that. Hey, Olga.
This was my
But what if we
suggestion.
assume not everyone's going to do that? So we all think I can
Assume
take that.
that. Assume that I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, that's the safest assumption.
Yeah.
Let me go rewatch Pirates of the Caribbean quickly before next week and get.
Oh, yes. I did actually watch it recently, and that has been played a big part in swaying me towards Pirate Borg.
Well, one of us has surely got to be the newly gazetted Commodore Featherington Smythe.
Everybody else has got
Oh, yes.
Um,
The newly gazetted
I mean-
Major Gibbons.
Kenzie Crook over there with Cockney. No, carry on the Cockney vibes.
to be led by the newly gazetted Captain Sharp, sir. Good day.
I'm trying to think of which Black Sails character Milo is going to be now.
There's a lot of delightful ones.
We're going to have to
Get
go
your-
rewatch
get your-
Black Sails to get back into this.
Yeah.
Weekend Watch will have to be on.
Maybe I should watch Black Sails one day.
Oh, the best.
Coward.
Is it on any streaming service at the moment?
Not in the UK.
I thought it was an Amazon show. Is it not still on Prime?
It was Stars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
You'll be able to get it somewhere.
It's on Netflix in the US, which was really annoying.
You can embrace the culture of the show.
Yes.
Watch it whilst also cosplaying the cast.
I see turtles. Well, all the
guess that's
NPCs
right.
would talk like that, so...
I guess you could be more of a sinister pirate. I guess there are levels on there.
All right,
Lovely
chaps.
stuff.
Fair sailing.
Catch you all later, I guess.
Have a good night, all.
See you on the flip flop. Thanks, Ollie.
Cheers, guys.
Eating.
Thanks, yeah.